Okay, you ready? Go on. Go on. Okay. Hello. Welcome to my shed. Because my life is very chaos right now, I figured I'd bring you with me for a day in the life of this weird forest-dwelling person. Forest-dwelling artist. It's a vlog. Just in case any of you missed my last video, I moved into the forest, and I'm building a tiny house. It's really more of a garden shed, so that when I want to work on gardening stuff all day long, I can just sleep here and work into the night. So normally when I'm out here, I don't wear makeup, but I do put on sunscreen moisturizer because my face is weird. I tan very, very easily. It's the Hispanic in me. So this is more of like a skin health thing. My abbreviated makeup routine is a little bit of foundation. Usually I have a beauty blender. I'm in a shed, so that's not happening. Eyeshadow. I'm gonna use my fingers because I paid $1 for this palette. Sometimes your girl is cheap. That's good enough. The only person who's gonna see me is you. And then eyebrows. This was $1. I've not cleaned up my eyebrows in like a month, and they're a disaster. And now eyeliner, brush tip brown. I have a mirror here, but I just would rather use the viewfinder and talk to you guys. See what you guys are up to. How's your life? What are you doing? Did COVID dramatically change your life setup? It really changed mine. And we're done. And now I feel so much more human. Recently, something that I've been doing out here is wearing sunglasses as a headband. It's multi-purpose because I can use it to hold my hair back. And then when it gets sunny and I'm like, oh no, my eyes, I can drop them down and protect myself from the painful UV rays. And they look pretty cool. So anyway, I'm gonna put my shoes on and then we're gonna go look at some plants. Hi, Ben. It's kind of windy right now. I don't know how that's gonna affect the audio, but we're gonna go forward anyway. In this container, I have mouse melons. These are like a very tiny cucumber, and they end up looking like teeny tiny melons. This is lemon thyme. It actually smells like lemon, and I really like it. I don't use a lot of thyme, but this is just a really nice perennial, which means it's like a tree or a bush, so it's always going to be wherever you put it until you pull it out. So in this garden bed, I've got quite a few things. On this end, I have Japanese daikon radishes, which are a type of huge radish that grow to be about the size of a potato. And then in the very front corner, I have a kukuzi squash. Definitely Google what these look like because they're kind of crazy. I really hope that this is going to grow because I got a bunch of seeds and this is the only one that managed to sprout. So I've kind of been babying it. I hope that it goes well. If it grows, these things are really cool. And then in the next two beds, I've got 2 black Hopi dye sunflowers in the back, and then this one I just threw a bunch of sweet peas in, and then in the middle there's a bunch of dark red beets that I just put in like yesterday, and this is a Hubbard squash. And then in this one I have 2 ground cherry plants that died in the frost. So we had a last minute frost that killed a bunch of plants. It only kind of got 2 of mine, and this was one of them. I really like ground cherries. They're amazing, but I don't know if this one is going to survive. The stems are still green, but all of the leaves died, so we're just gonna have to watch and see. And then just in case it dies, I put a bunch of zucchini seeds in here. I figure whichever one lives is the one that gets to have the space. I also sprinkled a ton of red corn poppy seeds in here. So we'll see if any of those grow. So this one is a Boston pickling cucumber. This was the only cucumber that survived of my sprouts. The frost killed all the other ones. But this one's going pretty strong. I don't know why. And then this bed is full of carrots. It's a kaleidoscope carrot mix, so there's gonna be a bunch of different kinds. And you can see they're sprouting. They're starting to come up. That one's probably the furthest along. This bed is kind of shallow. It's only about maybe a foot, so I don't know how well they're going to do, but I guess we'll see. This whole year is pretty experimental. And then these are red meat radishes that I just planted maybe 5 or 6 days ago, and they're finally starting to sprout. Look at that. Look at that little guy. He's coming up. So yeah, these are Chinese red meat radishes, and they are finally starting to come up. And then these are black Spanish radishes that I planted about 3 weeks ago, I want to say. They're pretty well established. I'm happy with them. So lots of different kinds of radishes. And then the very last plant I've got in here is a birdhouse gourd. The season here is really short, so I don't know if gourds are going to work, but I can try. This whole year is going to be super experimental. In this container I have mustard, so hopefully those will eventually go to seed and I can make some homemade mustard. They're finally starting to grow past their baby leaves, so it looks promising. We'll see. In this tire I have white California potatoes. I have a ton of potatoes I need to put in the ground, but these are the only ones that I've got in so far. Over here I've got 3 different types of sage. There is golden sage, white sage, and pineapple sage. I had actually been looking for pineapple sage for a really, really long time, and one of my aunts managed to find some. It really does smell like pineapples, and this was actually one that I thought died in the frost. You can see where I cut off the stem, but it lived. It survived, so I'm really hopeful that it will just grow into a beautiful, majestic plant. But this one is like my baby right now. I like sage. Sage makes me happy. So it's pretty much everything along this side. This is a small section of an old carport that we're gonna put fencing over. That way the cucumbers and gourds and squash will have something to grow up, and it'll be like a nice trellis. And this is a garden bed that I built out of stuff that I found around the property. I'm still working on filling it. It's a lot harder than you would think it is. This holds so much dirt that filling it has been quite the chore because I don't have a wheelbarrow. I need to go borrow one, hopefully today, so that I can get dirt from down there and bring it up here, instead of having to bring it in single buckets because these are very heavy and don't fill a lot. But eventually I want to put trellising on the house so that I can have vining plants that will grow up and around the front of this shed. And then on this side of the trellis, I want to build another large garden bed that is essentially the same but made from that tin over there. And that's where I'm going to plant a bunch of these. As for the hanging plants, this is a type of mini mint, and it smells incredible. Apparently it's a cover crop, which means that it's just meant to cover the ground. It's such a strong mint, and I love it so much. I really like mint, but apparently this will completely take over, and you can walk on it, and it won't kill it. And then hanging on this side, we have self-heal mint, but none of it is sprouting, so I don't know how that's gonna go. I'm not even seeing any little sprouts. So we'll see if anything in there germinates. It is full of seeds. I just added water today. And then on this side I have lemon balm. We'll see. I'm just gonna keep an eye out, see if anything pops up. And then here on the garden table I've got a bunch of plants that I've sprouted myself or gotten from other people, or that I sprouted with family members. And then these are some creeping Jenny plants. This is a type of vine that is not edible or anything, but it does look really pretty. And then this clump of dirt was a gift from my uncle because it is full of lemon balm. So even if that lemon balm doesn't sprout, I'm gonna still have some. I just have to separate it from the grass and put it in something. And then this is either thyme or rosemary that one of my cousins gave me. Another thing that needs to go in the ground. These are wild roses, and this one is a thimbleberry. I don't know if it's gonna survive, but I'm gonna put it in the ground and water it and pray. And then we'll see. Getting kind of crunchy, but it does look like there's a root there. Here are 2 more mouse melons. Very hopeful for these guys. They seem to be going okay. I really hope that these sprout because they look so cool online, and I've never had them, and I want some. This is a broadleaf sage. I really like sage. And then I think these are peppers. I just planted these yesterday. That one for sure I know is asparagus. And then we have a nest egg gourd, goblin egg gourds, and loofah gourds. And that is a Cinderella pumpkin. And then I'm not sure what that is because I just planted it yesterday. It might be broccoli. These are weeby little pumpkins, black Hopi dye sunflowers, like the ones that are in the garden bed over there. And then these are mammoth sunflowers, so these are going to get really, really big. These are also things that need to go in the ground soon because they're already getting their secondary leaves. These are Flemish antique poppies, big puffy ones. That's amaranth, that's more mustard. And then these are Kiwano jelly melons and African horned cucumbers, which are all the same thing. But these, in my experience, grow vines really, really well, and so that's what I want to put in the front of the house. This is a seed from a gourd mix, so I have no idea what it is. The rest of these are peppers, and these are Cinderella pumpkins and Hoden pumpkins. I think that's what they're called. Really giant ones. Don't know if they're gonna work here. The season is very short and it's very cold. These are all things I planted yesterday. The only one I know for sure is this is chamomile. Can't remember the rest of them. I've got pictures. I'm supposed to label them right now. These are more red corn poppies, but I'm pretty sure that they are dead. So we'll see. I might end up putting something else in there. These are some onions that we were trying, and then these are cabbage and broccoli, but I'm not sure if they're gonna go. But as far as plants go, those are all of the ones that I have in this space. I have a pretty massive seed collection going here on top of all of these packs. These 2 boxes and these 2 little ones are also just full of seeds, not to mention all of the potatoes that I still need to stick in the ground. So everything is kind of a mess here, but I'm working on it. My main chore for today is to paint all of these beams white. So these are the trim for the shed that is going to make it nice and airtight so that heat can't escape. So right now the ceiling and the walls are not fully sealed together, so there's gaps all the way around. And then once those are painted, they're gonna go up here to seal all of those holes. We'll get there. I was putting the first layer of white paint around the edges of the trim when my cousin Jess came to bring some plant starts. So I grabbed my box cutter and I was trying to cut one of the cells off of a 4-cell block of cabbage, and I jammed the razor into my hand, but she had band-aids, so we're good. Hopefully that is an adequate sacrifice for my plants, but now I'm just laying in my doorway, as I often do, tanning my stomach, squishy belly, because otherwise that part of my body never sees the light of day. So for now, I'm just laying in my doorway waiting for the paint to dry. I fell asleep on the floor for an hour or so. I also did a little bit of watercoloring of some radish sprouts. I want to get better at doing art of plants, because I like plants now. Plants are fun. But at this point, I'm gonna go to my uncle's house. Do not forget your phone charger. Girl, I'm gonna go to my uncle's house and I'm gonna work on some computer things that I need to do for work. I'm potentially gonna be doing some commissions. I'm just gonna start with like 3 open slots, see how I like it, see how it handles, and then I will decide if I want to do more commissions after that. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, my uncle's dog, Maggie, she is a purebred lab, and she's having some purebred lab puppies here in the next 2 months, provided that she is actually pregnant. We're pretty sure she is, but we're just watching to see. So if you or someone you know might want to buy a purebred Labrador, I will probably talk about it in a future video and throw up some kind of contact information or form or something, but that's for later. Are you ready, my dog? We're gonna go. Are you ready to go? Oh boy! Ignore that mess behind me. I think that's gonna be it for this weird vlog, and hopefully I'll see you later. Do you guys like this kind of vloggy content? If you do, let me know and maybe I'll make more. A lot's going on here with all of this nonsense, and I am more than happy to tell you about it. Give it a like. Alright, you get 1,000 awesome points for coming with me on this weird daytime adventure. I have paint on my face. I'm gonna go and eat food and draw and sleep. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you later. Goodbye. I don't know if you can really see this in the earlier video, but there was a big stack of tin right here, and I needed to move it because I need this space to be open enough to build a garden bed over there. And so I had to drag all of the tin that was here up that hill. But before I could drag it up the hill, I had to cut off some of the branches from that pine tree. So I got distracted a lot, and this place is just chaos.